are going to be of high energy. So I think these are games that are really going to be tight. First of all, we expect wins. We do not expect very many draws today because people are now planning. And you know, this comes with the issues of table changings. So I think people are going to be working very hard, and the games are going to be very tough because people want to also be on top of the table when it comes to next year. So I think people want to end the table on top. So that is why we are going to be seeing the games very much tight, and they will be highly contested. So I think we will expect very good games today. We expect good display, and we do not expect very many goals though. So I think this is what we are going to be witnessing in the English Premier League. Because if you look at the games, first of all, the game of Man U, this is one game that is also tight, and the game of Arsenal, this is a determinant game on who will be able to win the game, and the one who wins today will be able to celebrate the table, will celebrate the new year on top of the table. And this is where the discussion lies, because everybody wants to see which team will be able to celebrate the team, the new year on top of the log. So I think this is where we're going to be seeing a game that is highly contested. So I think just like the Arsenal game, the rest of the games also going to be very much tight. We expect stiff competition in the games. That is why we are going to be witnessing this game. So if you are coming to these games, you must be able to have a feeling that these games are going to be very much tight. And to me, I think we're not going to be seeing very many games, more so in the game that is between Arsenal and Liverpool. And we expect, and in places where we watch these games, the discussions that have been taking place there. So I think this is going to be able to tell of which team maybe could be able to win the Premier League. And I see Arsenal coming this game here with a team that is quite good, though we have a lot of the Arsenal has a lot of injury concerns, just like Liverpool. So Liverpool also has concerns. So I think this is going to be a tough game, and the one who wins will be able to really celebrate the new year on top of the log. But we do not expect very many goals in this game here.
Yeah, exactly. Aston Villa spoiled its chance yesterday after playing a 1-1 draw with the team of Sheffield United. If they had won yesterday's game, of course they were going to go on top of the log. And at the same time, the team of Liverpool, Arsenal, is going to be like top of the table class, like you have just communicated. The team that wins will end up spending the Christmas on top of the log. Whether it will go into the hands of Arsenal or to the team of Liverpool is what we are waiting to see. But let's kickstart our discussion with what is happening within the region. And the draws for the preliminary rounds of Stanbic Uganda Cup were out, and these games have been played already. And some of the non-registered clubs that are not even playing in 4th Division League, not even playing in 5th Division League, they have upsetted some of the teams that are currently playing in Western Regional League, and will be giving you how the games went. Here are the results. Of course, the team Okokoro went on to beat Tipsa by 4-3. Speaking something little about Okokoro last season they played in Western Regional League. It never ended so well for them till they were relegated. And Tipsa currently they are the log leaders as far as Western Regional League Nile Zone is concerned, and they lost that one into the hands of Okokoro. They were away to Okokoro and Oraba. Oraba is a team that comes from Koboko DFA. They were edged by Araka by 1-0. And the same scoreline, the team of Nyangilia had over Yumbe Hospital. Yumbe Hospital is also a team that's playing in Western Regional League and in Nile Zone. The same scoreline, Koboko Rising Stars, also Western Regional League material, beating the team of Sibon by 1-0. And Nebi Hot Spring lost into the hands of Paida Black Angels. The game ended by 3-2. Meanwhile, Zeus Sandro went on to edge Alangi Supermix by 1-0, and Angali Mission Stars were thrust by Nebi Sandro by 4-1. Meanwhile, Young Savannah also lost to Pakwat Super Eagles by 1-0, and we saw Pakwat Young Stars Farsi beating the team of Pattern Hotspurs by 2-1. And Sunrise, of course, was supposed to play the team of Moyo Town Council, and that game was didn't take place. The Moyo Town Council never honored the fixture, and in the process, 3 points plus 3 solid goals were given to the team of Sunrise of Fuda. Sunrise is a team that comes from Marata. Now you take a look at how the preliminary rounds they have gone. Tipsa is a team that's maintaining the log in Nile Zone. As far as the Western Regional League is concerned, Okokoro, a team fresh from Western Regional League, I said they were actually relegated, edging out Tipsa. That means Tipsa log leaders in in the Nile zone, already out of the competition. What does this result mean for the team of Kokoro? Kokoro is now playing in the 4th Division League of Marasa DFA, but the log leaders already out of the competition.
Benson, if you look at what is happening in the world of this Uganda Cup, Uganda Cup, unlike the sometimes Uganda Premier League, is quite tricky and quite difficult to maybe tell which team may be able to win the league when it comes to the end of the day. Last season, if you have to look at what happened, Arua Hill got edged out by Tipsa. So this is something that tells you we do not have somebody whom you can tell that is a super model to win this league here. So I think the Uganda Cup is quite difficult, and if you have to look at the winners last season, nobody expected them to win. If you have to look at the last winners, the Bull, nobody expected them to win. So I think Uganda Cup is one that is quite tricky, and it is one league that maybe if you are to be able to tell, it is one that is where you see a lot of competitions, because if all the teams right from 4th division play in this league here, right from 4th division up to sometimes Uganda Premier League, and the games are quite very many. That's why we have so many rounds keep on going on. So I think if you lose a game, you bow out. So I think the Uganda Cup is one that is quite difficult. First of all, because so many teams play here, and you cannot underestimate any team when it comes to Uganda Cup, because any team can do anything. Just like you see Tipsa being knocked out, and last season you know what Tipsa did, knocked out Arua Hill where nobody expected that to happen. So I think this is also quite, it is not a shock to me, because if you have to look at the precedents that the Uganda Cup has set, and if you have to look at how teams from Western region have maybe performed, and the last team that performed very well when it comes to Uganda Cup was Onduparaka Football Club. I think they went up the finals of the league. So I think this is a league that is quite difficult and quite tough, whereby you do not expect somebody to be the right winner. You cannot declare the winner when the games are still continuing on, because a team from regional league or 4th division can knock you out at any time. So I think this Uganda Cup is one that is quite difficult, and whereby there are so many games, and these will move so many distances. You can tell a team from Mbale has to travel and play Uganda Cup in Koboko, and a team from Koboko, a 4th division team from Koboko, has to travel right up to Mbarara. So I think this is why the games are also sometimes quite difficult, because some of the teams you can really sympathize with them. They may not be able to really fund these games sufficiently. That is why maybe some of the teams are bowing out. So I think just like any other league, the Uganda Cup, when it comes to our context here, it is still quite difficult. It is still very much competitive, because any team can come up and win the league. So I think the Uganda Cup is where we need to put out our emphasis and have a following and an understanding of what is really happening there. Because when you see what happens there, any team can come up and beat you. It doesn't mind of who you are. That is why we are seeing teams like KCA last season being knocked out by small teams like Soltilo Bright Stars. So I think this is a league whereby you cannot tell maybe who is who, because anything can happen to you at any time. So I think the Uganda Cup is still very much competitive, and this is a league whereby you cannot see and tell a winner when the league is just beginning, because a team in 4th division can actually knock a team that is playing sometimes Uganda Premier League, and you know it comes back with energy, because sometimes people take advantage of the home grounds. If you are playing at home, this is where you have to take advantage, and that is why the finals, if you look at the finals of last season where they were played, I think they were taken to Masindi. So I think this also plays a role in terms of marketing the games and in terms of making the game very much competitive. I personally am a big fan of Uganda Cup, because I know when it comes to the competitiveness in the league, you can really tell how interesting the games can be.
So we are watching the space closely. Another regional league team from Nile Zone that is already out of the competition is a team that comes from Yumbe DFA, a team in the names of Yumbe Hospital. After losing Narol into the hands of Nyangilia. Normally when we talk about Nyangilia, people's mind goes to the school from Koboko. It's not Nyangilia as much as the team comes from that ends. The team is called actually Nyangilia Football Club. We have so many teams from Koboko DFA that have represented themselves in the preliminary rounds of Stanbic Uganda Cup. You may mention the likes of Oraba, Nyangilia Football Club. These are the clubs. Like you said, it's an opportunity for most of the non-registered clubs to see that they take this initiative to expose their players. And we are watching the space closely, as I said, and this tournament will continue up to the time of finals. The defending champions are the Vipers, meaning after beating Police in the finals. And before that, we saw the team of Bull winning and beating the champions of last season, Vipers. And turning our focus away from Stanbic Uganda Cup, this time we take a look at what transpired yesterday night in Bet Power Fufu Big League. There was one game on the card. It was actually between Lugazi and the team of Jinza North United. Other games took place the other day, but we saw the team of Lugazi beating Jinza North United by 2-0. And the biggest thing behind that win is the team of Lugazi this time slimming, whereas narrowing the points gap between themselves and the log leaders, Police. We are all aware that they won their game the other day, and their points tally went to that 30. And they actually, before Lugazi played its game yesterday, they were 5 points behind the team of Police, the Cops. They call themselves Cops. That is the nickname of the team Police. After winning against Jinza North United yesterday night, now they are 2 points behind the team of Police. You look at the performances of the other teams in Valley Heroes, they're also trying very hard to see that they cross the line to StarTimes Uganda Premier League. We also following StarTimes rather, Bet Power Fufa Big League. The likes of Ondo Paraka recently, they had a game up against their neighbors, Calvary. They were beaten by 2-1. Now, the two West Nile based sides, Ondo Paraka and the team of Calvary, all having the same number of points, all being tied at 16. But Ondo Paraka sits ahead of Calvary because Calvary is having a more negative compared to Ondo Paraka, that is now having a 0 negative and also 0 goal. But the biggest talking point is you look at how it's going neck to neck between Lugazi and Police, and at the same time you may also be interested in saying something little about the team of Ondo Paraka and Calvary.
Benson, before I head into that discussion of Ondo Paraka and Calvary, I want to just add something briefly on the team that is Lugazi Football Club. This is a team that when the league was really starting, nobody thought about them. People could not actually put them as teams that maybe you could see could get promotions to the next league. Nobody had them in that line. But now Benson, I can confirm to you, this is a team that is not a joke, because you cannot go to their ground and easily pick the 3 points from there. It is becoming quite difficult for teams to go there. You can look at the teams that have gone there to play against this team here. Most of them have come up losing the games. So I think Lugazi is one team that we really need to look out for and really have an understanding, and really this could actually be the team that could shock and surprise so many of us when it comes to getting promotion next season. Because when the league was starting, Benson, I can confirm to you once again that nobody actually had it in their minds that this team could actually put out the display they are currently putting out. If you look at the team's performance right now, the team is doing quite well. They go when they move away on away games, they can be able to pick the 3 points or perhaps pick 1 point, or it becomes very difficult for them to lose. But when you go to their home, it is becoming a no-go zone for most of the teams. So I think Lugazi team is one of the teams that is one of the football clubs that maybe we need to look out for when it comes to next season. Because if we continue, you can really see how they are putting out their performances against teams that we could not expect them to be really shocking. And the game between Lugazi and Jinja North, I believe it was quite competitive, because these are teams that really come from the distance from Lugazi to Jinja is not very far if you have moved that side, because these are just like from us here to Maracha. So I think this was a competitive game that attracted so many fans, I believe, because these are all teams that are within the Busoga region. All of them are between, if you look at where Lugazi is just sitting next to Jinja. The distance from Lugazi to Jinja is not very far. It's almost close. And most of the fans, actually, I believe that the same fans. So I think Lugazi and Jinja North, this was a quite competitive game, and Lugazi is a team that now we need to look out for when it comes to the end of the season, before the end of the season, because it may be one of the teams that could actually come out and surprise so many of us. So I think the game was quite competitive, and the team is now one that we need to look out for when it comes to next season, because we need to open up our eyes, and other teams also need to really look out for what they are doing. Because if you look at the recruitments of the team, they recruited some of the big names. They have so many names there that they recruited experienced players that have played in so many of these leagues here. I may not be able to mention the names, but we know how many players they really have. You know, regionally, football big league is one league that is quite difficult to understand. Sometimes it needs the experience of players who have played so many leagues. You may not be able to bring a regional league player to come and play for a big league, and the player adapts easily. Adapting to the league of adapting to the top tier league of sometimes Premier League sometimes becomes very easier than playing big league. That is why for you to gain promotions to the next league, sometimes you need the experience of players who have played in that league.
So I want to know one thing from you. You look at the two West Nile based sides, Calvary that comes from Yumbe, and at the same time the team of Ondo Paraka that's within Arua City.
Yes.
these two teams, before the kickstart of the new season of the ongoing FIFA Big League, they had that genius ambition to see that on the Paraka, they cross back to StarTimes Uganda Premier League. Meanwhile, Calvary, this is their third season to be in the FIFA Big League. Just like on the Paraka, they also had that zeal to see that they cross to StarTimes Uganda Premier League. The way they are performing right now. On the Paraka right now, they are 14 points behind the team of police, the long leaders. And the same thing also goes with Calvary, also something of 14 points behind the log leaders, that's police. So do we say both Western sides, they have lost it when it comes to making it back to maybe StarTimes Uganda Premier League?
Currently, it is still too early to tell maybe if it is too late for them, but they are running out of time, I can confirm to you. You know, for Big League is not like StarTimes Uganda Premier League, whereby you lose a game and you think you can easily cover. This is a league that is so much competitive and very difficult sometimes to understand, and some of the players, you know how many, the people, when it comes to big league, the challenges that these players usually come up and the teams usually raise is officiation. So many of them have actually come up with challenges of officiation these games here, more so when it comes to away games, and this is the challenge, and this is the biggest challenge the two sides of West Nile are facing. You can see on the Paraka Football Club is a team that can be able to pick the 3 points from 3 or 1 perhaps from our bed Greenlight Stadium, but it becomes very difficult for them to. We have seen them how they are performing on away games. It really becomes very difficult for them to pick the 3 points when they are traveling away from the Greenlight Stadium. So that is also making it very difficult for them to really put them at this time. I cannot be able to put them right now as the probable contenders for promotion when it comes to StarTimes Premier League next season. I cannot be able to. I'm ruling them out for this season. Why? Because they have failed to fix that gap when it comes to winning away games. You know, away games really, if you are not be able to pick at least a point in these games, it becomes very difficult for somebody to tell. And the other teams away, and this becomes very difficult when your opponents, and when I say opponents, these are people whom we are fighting to gain back promotions with, and this is what the teams we are saying on the Paraka, their target was to bounce back, not to delay, and that is why they did the recruitments that they currently have. They recruited so many people in the technical bench. They also recruited new players, and just like on the Paraka, also Calvary did the same. They have so many. They have a new coach with so many experiences, and you can tell so many of the likes of Dickens Okwi are with the team. These are experienced players who have played in so many leagues. So I think Bidco Calvary is something that is a team that also they are disappointing to me.
The win they had over the team of the Paraka has generated them out of the relegation. And not only these two teams that played recently in the FIFA Big League, we also had other games like Lugazi recently. We discussed earlier on. There were 2-0 winners over the team of Zenzanoff United. Meanwhile, Black Power shared the spoil with the Chetmet, ended 1-1, and the Boma were actually 4-1 winners over the team of Tigez Homeboys and the Calvary. Just like the way you have communicated, we are 2-1 winners over Onduparaka. We saw Mbale Heroes registered 1-0 win over Tinda Boys, and Ndeje University beating Young Elephant by 2-0. And Police, we are actually 1-0 winners over Kataka. And leaving Bet Power FIFA Big League, we need to turn our attention to what is happening in the top tier of Ugandan football. Yesterday night, there was one game between Vipers and the team of Bull FC, the log leaders. It was top of the table class between the two sides, because Bull, before the game, they were sitting on top of the log. Even after the game, they still are the ones sitting on top of the log. They went on to beat Vipers by 3-2. It was an edging result for the team of Bull over the team of Vipers. Did you expect that result?
Yes, Bull, I expected that, because if you have to look at Bull's performance in the last 2 years, this is a team that shows progress and the determination and the zeal to win the StarTimes Uganda Premier League. If you have to look at last season, they lost narrowly to winning the title. So I think they came in and they went back to drawing boards and fixed their gaps and the challenges, and that is why we are seeing them again competing this season. And the competition actually lies between the two teams. I can really confirm to you, because if you have to look at the gaps between the points, they are the ones that are competing currently. When the season was starting, we had 3 teams that maybe we are saying that this season they could actually be the winners. And one was Chitara, but Chitara started losing games in the due course of the process, because it became the due course of the campaign. They started losing games in the middle. It became very difficult for them, and now we have ruled them out. And now the competition is between the two, Bull Bull, when it comes to the players that they have so many experienced players, and what they did last season was just to make an addition. Unlike other teams that had to go from in the market and get new players for the new campaign, what they did was they had to bring in an addition to the players they already have, and so many of their players did not move just like the other teams. And Vipers also the same thing, I believe. And with the new with the new coach, you really expect them, and Bull now. You know what they can do when it comes to having the players. They have so many experienced players, and that is why we are seeing them putting the display that they are currently giving out. And that game did not come to me as a surprise. I can confirm to you, I expected it. And Bull, when it comes to playing against big teams, and these are big. And when I say big teams, we know that the teams that we have always said are the big teams: One Express, KCCA, Vipers.
Sports Club
Villa, and so many others. These are the big teams that we knew, and you know what Bull can do when it comes to playing against these teams here. And this is a team that can actually move away and pick the 3 points. They came to West Nile and picked the points. You know what happens when they came to West Nile? They were able to pick the points from here. So Bull is a team that maybe you cannot rule out for when it comes to saying out maybe who will be able to put a tough competition when it comes to winning the league this season. And last season, you remember where they actually went up to. They went and played up the international level. They went and played up to CAF. So I think this was also an advantage for them, because their players were able to. Was it last season? Yes.
The other season.
Their players were able to interact with so many players out there, and this also brings in an addition of experience, because a player who is not used to.
First, we only left with the 2 minutes to end the first stanza of the show. That one wasn't the only game that took place yesterday night in Star Times Uganda Premier League. We also had the 2 games. There was a game between KC and the team of Sports Club Villa, where we saw KC for the first time winning the games back to back ever since the start of the new season of Star Times Uganda Premier League. They went on to beat the team of Sports Club Villa by 2-1. And there was a game between Soltino Bright Stars and UPDF, where we saw Soltino Bright Stars beating UPDF by 2-1. And again, Nelson Senkatuka was the guy behind the winning goal. You may summarize with the 2 goals.
Just to add on the goal of Senkatuka, you know who this guy is. This is somebody who has experience in the league right from secondary school. He has been a player that has put out the competitions that really you could tell, and he has the experience when it comes to Uganda Premier League. He moved a bit, and this is actually his second stint maybe with the team. I am not so sure. He moved and he came back, and when he came back, people were not expecting this, but he came back and he's now proving who Senkatuka is when it comes to playing for Soltino Bright Stars. So I think it was a good move for him to return back to Soltino Bright Stars, and that is why he's bagging the goals for the team. And I believe, just like Senkatuka, the determination is from all the players that when it comes to Bright Stars is a team that is quite tough. It's quite difficult. It's a team that you cannot rule out, you cannot underestimate when it comes to playing Uganda Premier League. And usually it's also a team that can pick the 3 points on away. So this is a team, and we did see this last season when they were able to move to these big sides and give them hard time. In some of the games where they lost, it was still a quite competition for them, and that is why we need to also look at Bright Stars when it comes to playing. Bright Stars is not an easy team; it's a big team, and I believe with the support they have, this is a team that is really quite difficult, and the win was also very much expected. And
equally, we have in one game to be played today, the game between Wakiso Giants and the team of Gaddafi. And taking a look at the table standing, highlighting the viewers with how the table standing is currently standing. On top is the team of Bull. After winning against the Vipers in yesterday's game, they are now having 29 points. Second is Vipers with 24. Third is Chitara with 23. Fourth is Maroons with 22. Down in the relegation zone, we have got Wakiso Giants in the relegation zone with only 10 points. At number 15th is UPDF with only 9. Meanwhile, the rock bottom team is the team that comes from West Nile region, Arua Hill Sports Club. They have only 5 points. With that, we have come to the end of the first stanza of the show. It's me, Benson Pastor.